I just want to say another great big huge thank you to Jonas Barnes and Joanne Parker for joining us here on Poddywood to be a what?
Your dick, it's Joe Parker.
You said Joanne right after you just asked.
Hello, everybody, and welcome once again to a very special episode of Poddywood, the podcast and / video format show where we talk about movies, occasionally with people who make movies. Now, I am one of your co-hosts, Steve Hester, and joining me as always is...
Andrew Roger Carson here, co-host of Poddywood. A little bit unshaven, a bit rough around the edges, but that's just how you like me, apparently.
Yeah, well, I've got a new haircut. Flat at the
Same
sides.
as the old haircut.
Flat as the neck.
That haircut was exactly the same as the last episode you did, which was probably about 4 weeks ago.
Which
so
is...
you just had the haircut the same.
Yeah, which no one else will notice, but, you know, in between then, my hair has just gone... But as you can see as well, I've also got the Christmas lights actually going.
Is that because it's the 4th of July at the moment?
No, it's because people kept on commenting as to why I had lights up, but they weren't on, so I thought I'd actually leave them on today. So there you go. They work.
It's kind of a celebratory just for the end of season 5.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know how we've got 5 seasons out of 85 episodes, but somehow we've managed to do it.
Just don't delve into the maths, that's all I'm going to say. Just don't.
No. But anyway, we wanted to do something incredibly special this week. Obviously, we've had our last episode with Levi Tran. Fantastic episode. It's getting great feedback.
Mm-hmm.
It's getting great views. We'll know, hopefully, by our next episode if she has dethroned Uwe Boll, das Wunderkind himself, from the top guest spot of most views. She's halfway there at this moment, so it'll be interesting.
And at the moment, yes, she is halfway there, and it's only been just over a day since that episode's been out. So...
Crazy. So
who knows
thank you, everybody
out?
Who has watched that episode. So as we're about to take a short break, as we usually do, we have been mentioning that we are coming back with a bit of a change in the format. Now, obviously, it's because we want to be consistent in getting episodes out every week. Poor Steve has been really buried over the last couple of months in the amount of episodes and the guests that we've got, and we've got amazing guests coming up, and we don't want to lose that momentum. So we decided, okay, we're going to go with a gut feeling here, and we are going to introduce 2 new co-guests that are going to take over on the interview side with myself. While Steve will still be around for What's in the Box, because he has practically a galaxy of movies that we have to torture him with. And as you will know from a couple of weeks ago, he still has No Country for Old Men to watch, which is next on his What's in the Box.
Yes,
and
yes,
the
it
amount
is.
of people who have said how you've gotten through life without seeing that movie is it's quite daunting.
Yeah, well, I didn't see Rocky until this year. I didn't see Goonies until last year. You know, come on. It's easily done.
Apparently so.
Yeah.
But anyway, we wanted to kickstart this end of season 5 by ushering in season 6. And there's no better way to do that than introducing you to the new hosts that we've got. One of them, of course, it had to be. It had to be a person that we love having on. And we get great feedback when we do have him on. So joining us all the way from Bushwick, it's Jonas Barnes. Jonas, how's it going, buddy?
Hey, what's up, guys? Super happy to be here per usual. And we're here over on 4th of July right now in Brooklyn. We've been celebrating 4th of July for the last week. So, it's just, I don't know what happens in Brooklyn every year. 4th of July comes along, New Year's comes along, and all of a sudden the bodegas are like, oh, we also sell fireworks. Like, it's just... Our whole neighborhood is just exploding right now. So
it's like bonfire night over here. As soon as that happens, bonfire night, it's a month away. You get people letting off all kinds of fireworks, usually at 3 o'clock in the morning, waking everybody up.
Yeah, it's insane. We've had it literally going on for the last week. So it usually starts around 6 o'clock at night, goes till about 3 in the morning because, fuck work. You just don't have to do that in the morning. That's where we're at right now.
Exactly. And it's always a pleasure having you back on Poddywood. Normally it's coming on and assassinating whatever movies that we pull you out to watch or stuff that you have been to the theaters to see. So you might actually be the one person on the show now who actually sees stuff from this year.
Oh, listen, guys, it's going to be a lot of the same. We're going to talk about Indiana Jones at some point, so like it's fine.
Oh,
Yes.
yay, I love Last Crusade. Yay.
Yes. Probably ran out of 15 minutes. But Jonas, an official welcome to Poddywood as a full-time member of the team. It's going to be fantastic to have you. And
I'm excited for it. I get to learn how to lie again. That'll be fun. No, I'm kidding. I actually, honestly, I'm looking forward to it for a lot of different reasons, because there are movies that I shit on for sure, but like most of the time that's for comedic effect. If it's a bad movie, like, you know, obviously I'll like ramp it up a little bit like that, but also at the same time, like if you looked at my Blu-ray collection, you would understand that I like bad movies. Like sometimes I'm into a bad movie. So, you know, depending on who we end up talking to at what times, like that grilling might be a little bit different.
Andrew Googles who directed Exorcist 2 and are they available?
That was
They have to be dead.
William Peter Blatty.
No, I think it was John Borman. I believe it
You're
was
right.
John Borman.
No, you're right. It was, yes. Yes, it was
still
John
around, I believe.
Borman's production of Exorcist II: The Heretic.
How is that not an Alan Smithy movie? How is it not? Like, there's not, why would you keep your name on that movie ever? I would change my identity. There's no way.
Just change it to Pazuzu.
Yeah.
Well, obviously, we've got some new blood on the show as well, and I really wanted to introduce this person, pick them up. Me and Steve have worked with this amazing filmmaker for the last couple of years. She's been involved on a bunch of projects, obviously on our Scene Search show that we are hopefully looking to get underway this year as well. Exclusive, there we go. But also, she is experienced in VFX, which is where one of her passion lies as well. And she is punk life until death, for sure. So I'm going to introduce some fresh blood, Joanne Parker. Jo, how are you doing?
Hey guys, it's good to be here. I'm doing very, really well. Funny you should say I'm living the punk life when I really need to get this all cut and shaved back off again. So that's it's one of my targets for this week. But no, it's lovely to be here on the show.
Yes, thank you for joining our little motley crew. And you've obviously come from an editing and filmmaking background yourself, so you know all the ins and outs from a personal standpoint. And you run your own production company, don't you?
I do. Blue Caribou Productions. A lot of blood, sweat, tears, and a lot of swearing goes on there all day long. A lot of projects going on. But it'll be interesting because Jonas is coming in with the cynical side. I'm going to come in with almost like the golden retriever. Oh, this is a great film, and we're just going to kind of probably have some fights in the middle. It'll be great. I love a bad film. My whole collection's full of them, so we're going to get on great.
What's the golden gem of your bad movie collection?
The name escapes me, but do you know that Batman one where it's George Clooney and Robin and they've got their bat?
Batman and Robin.
I think it's Batman and Robin. Unfortunately, it came out at the proper point when I was growing up, and it's just stuck with me now. Like if you put it on, guaranteed I'll be laughing all the way through it.
That's your generation's Batman.
It is. It really is.
Scary. And he's just returned.
I know.
I just thought about that. Like, oh, you had to have that one be the Batman for your upbringing. Like, you got the Arnold Schwarzenegger puns for your upbringing. That's not. No, I'm sorry.
You're not sticking to the cooler.
Yeah. Oh yeah. It's
the worst part was we thought they were good. Like you see our parents next to us, like head in their hands, shaking their heads. But like me and my sister, we were just like clapping along, going, "Yeah, this is fucking great. Look at this guy go."
Check out the bat nipples. Look at it. Like it's great. Like everybody, like Clooney had the anatomical correct suit too. It was just like, why do you have a cod piece, George? Like what's going on?
No, it gets even worrying. More worrying than that is the fact that Alicia Silverstone has a perfectly tailored bat costume that perfectly forms her figure, and it's supposed to have been created by Alfred. Alfred has at some point, while she's been asleep, measured her body perfectly. Created that outfit for her.
I don't
And
think
it
that
no.
outfit's going to be, it's not going to be squat proof, is it? She's going to do like one squat, it's
Mm-mm.
going to rip on the bum.
Yeah.
That's
No.
it, gone.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Of all the questions that film ponders, that could have an entire episode. You know what? No, we've got to drag Bill Daly in to rediscover this movie because he was there.
God.
Come on, he
Please.
was an executive around that time. He's going to have every single story behind that movie. So
I'm
we
so
need to pull him
excited.
in for it.
Is there like an alternate script where Bruce Wayne just pulls Alfred aside and he's like, Alfred, what the fuck, man? Like, how did you get all those measurements? Like, did she give those to you, Alfred? Did she give those to you? Like,
Consent's important, Alfred. Please tell me.
Yes.
Yes, we don't buy that peg story for 1 minute.
I like that we started the episode and we already found out that Batman and Robin was a problematic movie for other reasons aside from the fact that it was
I
made.
know.
Like, we found out also that it was a problematic movie in 2023. We're like, oh, it did not age well for all sorts of different reasons.
It seems like Steve is currently existing in his own Joel Schumacher universe with those lights behind him.
Oh,
I know.
it's true.
I know. I feel like some kind of streamer. I feel like I should be the camera should be constantly going in, going, "Hey everybody, it's your boy. Now we're going to be doing some Fortnite." Ah! So my kids do is watch that stuff, and everybody shouts the slightest thing. Oh, I've just put a block on top of another. Oh my God, I put a block on top of another. Oh!
It's the sad thing of having kids that I actually see that shit on a daily basis as well.
There's a comedian named Moses Storm who was in a movie that actually was shockingly good, that does a joke about that whole YouTube generation where it's just like a YouTube influencer is the worst thing that you ever want to become. Where he was like, it's just dudes committing crimes, but then saying that it's a joke. You know, he's like, "What's up, dude?
Yeah.
My name's Bryce, and we're about to steal this old lady's insulin." Like, it's just what? Like,
But it's all good as long as you like, comment, and subscribe. Check in for the next episode, guys. Don't worry about it.
Yeah.
exactly. Yeah, that's all it is. It's all for the lulls.
Hey everybody, TT here, and I'm gonna put on this white hood and stand outside this Baptist church. All right. No, it's just a prank, bro. It's just a prank.
Then why are you bleeding, TT? Huh? Like, somebody didn't think it was funny, did they?
No. No, now you got summer teeth. Some are over here, some are over there.
Oh my God.
At some point, we
Movies,
will
yeah.
talk about films. Yeah.
We will.
We'll get to it.
That's kind of
This
a
is
good
just letting
seed.
people know what's going to happen in later episodes, guys. This is
Yeah.
we're introducing everybody to what the fuck you guys have done. Okay, like this is what you've done.
At least one of us here has seen the new Indiana Jones movie. Now, for long time watchers of the show, they'll remember way back when me and Steve kind of discussed when they were shooting Indiana Jones and the Dial of Destiny,
Mhm.
practically about a mile away from us.
Well, it were up in Derbyshire, which is where I am at the moment. So it were up in Thills, so not that far away at all. No,
Did Harrison Ford land anywhere near you
no,
by
no,
emergency?
no. There was no planes. I did get to see his chopper once, though.
So I've heard.
We've lost Steve, guys. He's gone. We've
That's
lost
it.
Steve.
10 minutes in.
Yeah, 10 minutes in.
and
Steve's
we've
already
already
gone.
lost it.
Steve's out.
I think that's a new record. That's it now.
Oh, Steve. He was great while he was here.
We knew him well. It's
Such a
okay.
stupid
We did.
joke.
We did. Yeah, we did.
Oh dear.
No, if you guys haven't seen the Indiana Jones movie, the most recent one, all I can tell you is that you don't need to do that to yourself. You have memories of Indiana Jones, and you should keep them. Like, you should keep them in your heart, and just treat this like it was some weird fever dream. Because, like, the last one was bad. The one prior to this, the one with Shia LaBeouf, that one was bad, and honestly, that one was arguably worse. This one is just completely unnecessary and also bad. So, like, they could have made it fun, like him going out on this, but they didn't. They just made a shitty movie. They were just like, all right, fuck off, Indiana Jones. Like, it was one of those things where you think that he's retiring, but he's actually going into hospice. Like, it's just like, oh, that's not what we thought. I'm sorry. Like,
I used to punch Nazis. Of course you did. Now, come on, dear. Come on.
Yeah, eat your pudding. Like,
I had someone, the best criticism I heard of it throughout the week, where someone said, was it Phoebe Waller-Bridge? Saying they kept expecting all the way through the movie her to break the fourth wall and talk about how much she wants to fuck Indiana Jones.
It's kind of accurate, actually. Yeah. It would have freshened up the movie, for fuck's sake. That would have been great. Instead, it's like you have to... Like, the suspension of disbelief is okay in a horror movie, but the fact that you have to watch Indiana Jones and be like, that dude is old. I'm sorry. Like, that's fucking... Everything you're doing is CGI. What are you doing? Like, that's the problem, is that, like, the suspension of disbelief is just... It's a taxing amount of it that you have to watch the movie and enjoy it, because no amount of money takes away from the fact that it's like he's on a fucking wire, like he's on a green screen, he's on a this, like it was bad in the last one and it's worse in this one because he's fucking older.
I was talking with Andy recently. I can't remember what clip it was that I sent you, but I did send you a clip of a stunt. It was a stunt from Man with the Golden Gun, and it's that car corkscrew.
Yes.
Stunt as it goes across the bridge, and showing how they did that in real time. And now nowadays, it just wouldn't happen. It'd all be done by CG. It wouldn't be done live because one, it'd be safer. Two, it'd be cheaper. And we're losing something because we're not having all these realistic stunts and stunt work. But you can't have those when your leading man is 80 years old. So, the big question is, what would you rather happen with Indiana Jones? Would you rather that the series just stopped altogether? Now, that's it, end of story, done. Or would you be happy to see it continue, but get the character recast with a younger actor, say someone in the 20s?
I'd rather see it ended. To be honest, I put up with Kingdom of the Crystal Skulls. It's not one of the best films, but it's kind of enjoyable because Harrison Ford could still go at that point.
All right.
Yeah.
We leave the monkeys out of it. It probably would have been great. But I love the originals. I think Temple of Doom was the first one I saw. So, and I saw Raiders of the Lost Ark after that. Messed around timelines, isn't it?
Temple of Doom's a prequel to Raiders, but yeah.
Okay, so I saw them practically in order then.
Yeah.
I think the Indiana Jones movies, if they would have taken the last one and they would have started the transition of him going into the Sean Connery role, then it would have been fine to keep the franchise going. But the fact that they did the last one, and it was like you said, there was parts of it that were enjoyable, it was watchable, blah, blah, blah. This new one drags that out and makes it less watchable, where it's just like, okay, now he needs to get the old Yeller treatment at this point. Like, just end it. Like, but like the last one, I'll tell you this, man, I would have taken Kingdom of the Crystal Skull. Would have been a much better movie if it was coked out Shia LaBeouf. That would have been a much better movie. Just absolutely would have been.
No one would know where that was going at any point.
No, he was just in the middle
at
of
some
it.
point he gets down.
Just do it out
He
to him.
will not divide us. He will not divide us. Yeah.
Yeah. As they're watching the screening, they're like, "Why are you clapping so much, Shia?" He's like, "This is one of my movies." Like, at this point, just fucking end it. Like, it needs to stop.
Yeah, I mean, it's a fantastic story that he tells, and you don't need to recast someone else to do that. There are so many other stories that we could be making and doing instead of just bringing Indiana Jones and being like, okay, get out of the hospice, okay, back in the chair, off we go. We're going to do another film. Just not, it'll all be over soon. Like, there's so many other roles that Harrison Ford is amazingly talented at, and he can do, and he doesn't need to be practical running around on Indiana anymore. I think, do you know what I mean? I've not seen the film yet, so I can't kind of give a verdict, but from what it sounds like, there's different films for him.
I was watching Temple of Doom for the first time in years, literally about 3 nights ago, and there's 2 things which stuck out for me. First is I've forgotten just how dark it was. I knew that it was dark, but holy shit, that middle act just goes dark. And the third thing is that second thing, sorry, we'll make up another one and put it in there. The second thing is that even back then, he ran like an old man with a full diaper. In everything, he just runs like he soiled himself, and he's desperately trying to get to a bathroom. And I can honestly imagine him now being 82, 83 years old. That's only got to be worse.
He's getting up to 82. If
Yeah.
I recall from our one of our previous episodes when we were talking about Hulk,
Yes.
comparing Sam Elliott's age to Harrison Ford's age, and Sam Elliott is younger.
Yep.
Wow.
Sam Elliott looks like he's been 78 for 20 years.
It's the moustache.
It is.
It is. It absolutely. There's no way it's not the mustache. He's been living on pure testosterone for the last 40 years, though. So, like, I don't even think he eats anymore. He just sniffs the mustache and he's like, he's back. Like, like.
Dinner's
Takes
stored
a
in the
nice
mustache.
deep
He's
breath.
fine.
Yeah, it is. Yeah.
He puts stash in mustache.
It's like Samson. If you were to trim off Sam Elliott's mustache, he'd lose all his power.
He would age immediately 50 years. They would be like, holy shit, you're 135? Wow.
Yeah. That's why you don't recognize him in We Were Soldiers, because it's like, who is that? It looks like Sam Elliott without the mustache. Oh shit, it is Sam Elliott.
Oh,
without
Christ,
the
he
mustache.
was in that.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. See, you don't even remember he was in
No,
that because
not
he
at
didn't have
all.
it. It's like,
Fuck.
Jesus Christ, Sam Elliott even had that mustache in Frogs. And that was in the 1970s.
It's a family heirloom at this point.
Someone's going to inherit the goatee and mustache.
Yeah.
down to my son. Just as I inherited this from my pappy.
It's like the mantle of Ghost Rider. He just like takes his mustache off and gives it to someone.
Gives it to Johnny Blaze.
Take that
He's like, you don't need to go.
ridiculous
Yeah, you don't need to go to hell. Here, just take the mustache. Just go. Now you can go kill all of them. It's fine.
Okay, well, I know that me and at least Jonas will have seen The Flash, and I'm not sure if Joanne or Steve has gotten around to it, but I think we can kind of cover this, and I think it's only right to cover this. Obviously, Poddywood quiz reigning champion Richard Mirish. This is the
Hi,
movie
Richard.
Hi, Richard. We have been discussing this now since our series began, and now it's finally released. And I'm gonna go on a limb and say I loved it. I really did. It delivered for me. Is it perfect? No, there's some things in there. A lot of people have kind of bemoaned about the ending and, how this build up to this major battle and then suddenly kind of what happens. It was a bit like a bit of a flatness to it. But no, I kind of like it. And I think I got into a bit of an argument this morning online with some uneducated douchebag who
the
was
Warner
like,
Brothers thing. Yeah.
Right,
no,
yeah.
they killed off the black character. And I was like, well, no, actually they didn't kill off Cyborg, they just didn't give him any powers and he's just a regular person. So, and this guy was like, support Marvel, forget DC. And I was like, well, if you really wanted to make it a race issue, Marvel has actually killed off more black characters in the last year than DC has, especially if you watch Black Panther 2.
Which I haven't.
Which you haven't, because it's not pulled out of the box yet. But yes, I'm not a super defensive one, but I see a lot of the kind of hate for the Flash based on external factors. So if it's not Ezra Miller, it's the support the Zack Snyderverse people, which is stupid because the Flash actually plays into the Snyderverse as well as every other DC movie that has come before it. Everyone's saying, "Oh, it's James Gunn movie." It's not James Gunn's movie. James Gunn came in after this movie was
Long
already
after.
Yeah.
Yeah, because Richard Mirish said he'd been working on this for about 2-3 years.
Over 4 years. 4 years.
Yeah. So
this was supposed to come out the year 2020. This was supposed to come out.
Yeah. So that was just after Guardians. Guardians 2 was beginning in 2019.
Yes,
End of 2018.
Yeah.
So yeah,
2018, it's either at the end of 2018 or the beginning of 2019.
something like that. So James Gunn will have nothing to do with this apart from maybe coming at the end and just going, "Hi guys, I'm taking over."
I think Flash is a concept like the superhero in the film. that's been trying to be that's been attempted to have been developed, I think, for the last 15 years. That's just been like passed from director to director, writer to writer. So even if he did step in, as Steve said, it's just going to be a waving thing because it's just passed that many hands that it's finally kind of gone to Richard Nurse and everyone else to kind of get it over the finish line.
And they did.
So you liked the movie, Andrew? Like you were a fan of it, and I saw that. Like, you know, I saw when you were posting about it and stuff. Because here's the thing about it: like, even though I have somewhat of a cynical take on a lot of different things with movies, I was looking forward to The Flash for a long time, and I recognized that the movie itself is actually a good movie. Like, for what they were doing for that storyline, and also like the time jumping and the different cameos and the different like timelines and all these different things, they did a good job of making a cohesive story out of it and making a complete film out of it, especially with everything that happened. So there's like the majority part of my brain and the majority part of my movie viewer and movie critic side will say that it's a good movie, especially for the end of essentially the end of the current DC universe as we know it before James Gunn comes into play. It's a good wrap up.
Yes.
Now, on the other hand of it, when the things came out with Ezra Miller, there should have been a decision that was made at that point. And that decision should have been made to the point where it was like, do we recast this with CGI? Is that a thing we can do? Do we axe the movie? What do we do? They were in kind of a fucked up position because at that point the movie was all but complete. Like, it was pretty much a finished movie at that point. So it wasn't a case where they could come back and refilm the movie. Now, on the other hand of it, Ezra Miller's a monster. Like, there's no way to get around it. Like, they're not just a random shitty thing that they did. Like, they're bad. Like, and it's to the point now where you have something that happened with Jonathan Majors, and his career at the moment is currently fucking done. Like, it's currently dead flatlined. So you have something that happened with Jonathan Majors that was something that was an accusation, something that was on also multiple accusations in the background of it that people didn't realize. And he is, for lack of a better term, completely fucked. He's done right now until other things happen. Now, the argument now that's happening is when that happened with Jonathan Majors, it was a quick decision to be like, you're fucking out of the MCU completely, on top of also being dropped from literally everything, including his PR agents and everything. Yet when this stuff came out with Ezra Miller, that was not even just accusations, it was all proven stuff. Like, that it was showing that they were doing these things.
Yeah.
People were still like, but we got to push forward in the movie. And that's where there's that weird gray area in the middle. It's like, do we need to do we actually need to put this movie out? Like, or do we need to wait longer?
The final point I was going to kind of say, which kind of echoes Jonas, like I'm in that kind of same mindset as well, and I agree with it. But it's kind of like, they kind of knew that Ezra had completely fucked up, because when it came to the press release, when it came to everything like that, they bundled them away and basically took all the other stars out and had them do all of the junkets, all the interviews, and showed Ezra as little as they could, because they knew the second that Ezra would come up against scrutiny, it wouldn't look good at all.
No, it's like with Johnny Depp and Amber Heard. The moment that there was a single allegation against Johnny Depp, he was dropped by Disney. He was dropped by Warner Brothers from the Fantastic Beasts series. He was persona non grata all throughout Hollywood, and that was just over a single accusation. A single accusation from his partner, with no other accusations from any of his previous partners to back that up. So then you then have Amber Heard, who's still being allowed to appear in Aquaman 2, be it in a smaller role.
I thought she got removed completely. I thought they completely.
I don't know.
It.
As far as I know, it is still in there, but she's kind of like in one scene and that's it. But then you've got Ezra Miller, who, oh boy, there is a lot to unpack with that one, and he's still allowed to have the film. Now, in terms of what they should have done with the character, it's difficult, especially if the film had already been shot and started to be edited together, the only way that I could think of they might have been able to do it would probably be to introduce the other Flash, because you've got Barry Allen, and then there's who's the other character, Wally West or something like that, who's also the Flash.
Yeah.
Yep.
There was a third option.
What's the third option?
Unfortunately, Christopher Plummer died.
Yeah.
But with the power of CGI.
Yeah.
Christopher Plummer
bring
could have
him
made a
back.
career of stepping into every actor who fucks up's role and just replacing them.
We're not
I
going
would
to
have
spoil
paid
anything
good
about the
money to
Flash,
see
right?
that.
We're not
No.
going to spoil anything about the movie. Okay.
No, it's
So
still in
without
cinemas.
Yeah. Without spoiling anything about the movie, then, I will say this to Andrew, since you've seen it. With the power of CGI, they brought something in that they sure the fuck shouldn't have done. Like, there was at least one character. Yeah, there was one character that was in it that came back in one of the timelines, and holy fucking shit, was that a bad idea?
They should not have done that. As soon as I saw it, I was just sat there. I think it was on my Twitter feed it came up, and I remember looking at it being like, surely this is a joke. Like, surely someone's just kind of like put that cut in. And it was like, no, it was official. And I was just sat there like, okay, no,
But
there's no way.
The thing that you saw on Twitter was lower quality for sure, because it was probably somebody from a cam. But I'll tell you, even in the high quality in the movie theater, that was a bad fucking choice.
We're talking Henry Cavill's lip bad choice.
It's like, it's one of those things where, like, I get why this person in this character showed up. I understand why they wanted to do that. The execution was fucking off. Like, that was the problem. It's like, it was ugly enough to where it was disrespectful. Like, if it was just a show up and it looked good, it would be fine. But it was ugly enough to where it was just like, oh, why did you do that? Like, that was not good. Like, it just shouldn't have happened.
It's like it's an attraction, isn't it? So it's like, let's wheel out these people. Okay, put them back in. Let's get the next people out. It's almost like a wow factor of getting everyone in the audience to be like, whoa.
Yeah.
You remember this? Oh, it's nostalgia. Do you remember nostalgia?
Dude. Yeah.
We've got no original ideas. Let's just keep pulling out the Michael Keaton. Oh, he's Batman. Do you remember Michael Keaton as Batman? Oh.
Okay, but that one actually worked.
Excited.
That
I was so excited. Michael, yeah. I haven't seen it yet.
Yeah.
Michael Keaton,
no.
I was gassed when I saw it.
Andrew knows exactly which one I'm talking about.
I'm stuck. It could be one of two.
Right.
Is it the very last surprise cameo that shows up?
No, it's the other one.
All the universes colliding.
It's the universes colliding one.
Yeah.
Okay, right. I am a bit torn on that one, because I personally think without that, it would have called for it. And I know it's a controversial decision, but for me, and especially seeing as though 2 weeks ago we were kind of talking about the third installment, which is still traumatic to all 80s children everywhere, and not just from that scary standpoint. For me, it kind of did hit me in the feels a bit, and it's kind of hard to pull that off in the way that they did.
Right.
So I wasn't particularly offended by it as much as other people were. I felt it as kind of a loving touch to the movies that I grew up with.
Okay, this character showing up, I understand. That I understand. And that I appreciate. And also with the timeline collisions and stuff like that, this character showing up in the way that they did made sense. But it was the quality of the cameo that was, and I wouldn't even call the word offensive. I would say that it was literally just ugly. It felt like they put an unfinished product out as a cameo just because they had to put it out there. It would be like you losing a pet and then somebody showing up and giving you a taxidermied version of that pet and be like, but it's the same. It's like, no, it's fucking terrifying. Like, what are you doing? Like, it felt, like I said, not that it was offensive, because that's not even the word I would use. It felt that as a fan of that character and of that franchise, it felt like the decision should have been made at that point. Either we need to let this cook a little bit longer so we can figure out how to make this look better, or we need to do some camera tricks to just hint towards the fact that that's the person you think it is, and not actually show
They did it well with Egon in Ghostbusters Afterlife.
They did
Whether or
it
not it
fine in
should have-
Ghostbusters.
Yeah, because you had you were able to I can't remember the name of the guy that actually played him physically, but he was the warden in Shawshank Redemption. Glasses.
Oh, Bob Gunson.
Bomb guns.
Yeah.
So they had him be the actual body double. Then they did like all kinds of deep fake trickery on his face, and then to add another layer to it, they also had a sheen of special effects over his face, which then was able to kind of mask the seams, so to speak. So it looked pretty good. But if you are actually dealing with something which should be properly photorealistic human, then you need to go above and beyond, particularly if it is someone that is in so many people's hearts. You need to do it right.
Do any of you know when the first instance of something like that actually happened? Because I know.
I don't.
What, like a
No.
deep
So
fake?
when they brought somebody, a well-respected actor who had died years before, and brought him back CGI for a movie.
See, I was thinking Star Wars, but you said him, so immediately I'm like,
No, I don't know.
I know that there was a big thing about when they brought a load of Golden Age Hollywood actors back for like a Pepsi commercial or something like that.
No,
Years
it wasn't
ago.
that. On the big screen, they brought back Laurence Olivier for Sky Captain in the World of Tomorrow.
Yes.
Oh, fuck.
Yes.
Yeah, you're right.
yeah.
There was a bit of uproar about it then, which was kind of the murmuring of this kind of whole movement now. And I think it seeks also into the kind of argument now that they're saying, oh, with AI, we can bring our movie stars, back from the dead to act with current day movie stars and have the ultimate dream team stuff. So, yeah, I can kind of see the argument with it. I think
Do we want
for
that?
me on The Flash, it was tastefully done, personally.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's
but-
actually a very good point.
Yeah, but it does kind of beg a bigger conversation around effects, like we kind of touched on earlier in terms of like practical effects and visual effects. And when you start to erase practical effects and you rush people when it comes to CGI and visuals, you kind of get what we've seen in not just Flash. I'm not just kind of shitting on Flash because I haven't seen it and it's great. But in terms of Marvel, there's this massive thing now at the moment where they're just pushing VFX artists to try and produce something in under a month or in under a few weeks.
Yes.
And
Yeah.
you're seeing
Crazy.
absolute dog shit quality that's coming out. Like I saw some of them for The Flash, but I can't even be mad at that because I saw some for Thor, Love and Thunder, and I wanted to scream at how bad the visual effects were.
So as the schedules increase, they're going to start using the same tech that the Asylum uses. I guarantee you.
I mean, you've usually got like 300-400 effects teams working on different elements of these big budget movies, and like you say, they're trying to pump out so many. Because I mean, if you look at the increase in production of the MCU, you started out with just like about 6 films, I think it was, for Phase 1, and then that went to like 8 for Phase 2 or something, and then for Phase 3 it was about 10.
Yeah,
And then that expanded again. So ever since Endgame, you've had like 7 different TV shows, 6 different films, and they all have to be of this high quality. And you can't sustain it.
they've never seen a location in their life. Like they were filming over a bridge. I think I saw some behind the scenes, and I think it was Brooklyn Bridge or something. But they just completely, just greenwalled it. And I'm sat there like, you've got, the most expensive bridge. You've shut down all of traffic. You've shut down everything.
Yeah.
And you're covering it up. What is the point?
Yeah, what are you doing? Yeah, it's crazy. I want to present a question to you guys both because Joanna's a visual effects person, and also I think it'll be an interesting question for all of us. What is the worst CGI moment that stands out to you in a major film, in like a major studio,
Scorpion King.
major budget film? Yeah. I'm not even going to consider that CGI because that looks like somebody opened up iMovie for the very first time and they were like, "I made a thing." Like it's
It's
real
his
bad.
mouth. It's just like. "Arr."
You mean that it's not the fact that it looks like Fisher Price animation? Like,
No.
it's super bad.
It's that uncanny valley.
Yeah.
It is only beaten by the Scorpion King 2 and the giant invisible scorpion they have at the end because they had no money to make a CGI thing, so they played it off as invisible. And what's so funny is one of my best friends, Russell Mulcahy, directed that movie.
Oh,
So,
Listen, we all have to take a paycheck sometimes. I understand that part. Honestly,
I know the reason why that my choice, which isn't Scorpion King 2, they used a kind of brand new effects company in Hollywood that had never really done it before. And I watched this film again just a couple of months ago, and it's like, it's so bad, but in a way that I feel it should be bad. Okay. And it's John Carpenter's Escape from LA.
Oh.
Ooh. Okay.
Yeah. Okay.
That's a solid choice. That is a solid choice.
Especially.
I want to throw mine out there because I want to tell you guys what just to give you an idea of what I'm thinking of. Like, I'll tell you what mine was. Mine was Blade 2. And it was Blade 2 in the fight scene when they're in the whole headquarters. Yes, when the lights, when they turn on all the lights, and he's fighting. Yeah, and he's fighting Neela or whatever her name is, and them as people, they're like their bodies aren't even shaped right. Like they look like two Stretch Armstrongs fighting each other. Like it's just.
Well, one was Cat from Red Dwarf, so.
Dude, it's like, and also it's so sad because that movie, from a visual effects standpoint, that's a pure horror film. Like the actual hybrid vampires and everything, like all of the other visual effects in that movie are so good. But then you see that fight scene and you're just like, this is a fucking cartoon. Like, what is happening? Like, that was the first time I was just like, oh, I hope they make this better. Like, I hope this isn't what we have to look at.
We've got to go to the expert then.
Well, mine's Buck Wild. Okay, so, because you got to remember, I was growing up at the time with this, but the one that completely threw me out was, is it Spy Kids 3, where they started to do this 3D element? Where they're like pointing at the screens and they've got all of this lava hitting the screen. And honestly, as a kid, I was like, what the fuck's going on here now? Like, this is just, it just looks so forced.
I don't know how it can get worse from Spy Kids 3 to Shark Boy and Lava Girl and be worse.
Oh boy. That's it. And they got all of these like massive names in it. And don't get me wrong, as a kid, I'm like, wow, this is great. But also I'm like, wow, this is bad. What's going on? Like, you look back on it as an adult.
I'm just watching it going, dude, you directed El Mariachi. What the fuck are you doing?
That's it. It's just wild that like I came from something like, I think weeks earlier, like I'd watched Jurassic Park for the first time and I shit myself, didn't sleep for a week as a kid. Like it was so good and well done.
Yeah.
Then go on to that film where Antonio Banderas, like he fucking slides on the table and all these brains start bouncing, and I'm there like, what is going on right now?
I want to throw a shout out to a movie that did probably one of the most bang up jobs of taking a small budget and turning it into a movie that was not only a great movie but also visual effects wise. It's almost impossible to watch this movie and think that the budget was what it was, but the movie is called Freaks.
Brilliant.
I've not seen this. Okay.
So if
no,
it's and it's got what the fuck's his name? I always forget his name. Emil Hirsch. It's got Emil Hirsch in it as the main person, and then the actress that plays the little girl, Lexi Kolker, she's incredible as the little girl in this. But that movie. Andrew, you've seen it.
Yes.
What would you like in a ballpark guess? What would you think the budget on that movie would have been?
God,
you'd be shocked. Also, Bruce Dern is in the movie. Like
I'm gonna say 2.5.
It was less than $1 million.
Wow.
Yeah.
No, I would not have gone for less than $1 million. To be honest.
Nope. I saw that movie at a festival here in New York. It was one of the horror fests that they do at the IFC Center, and they did a Q&A with the filmmakers, and they didn't shy away from the fact that they were like, yes, we did call in some favors from people that we've worked with that gave us a little bit of a break on some costs and stuff like that, but they were like, we also wanted to make a movie that looked real and used as much like actual real effects that we could, and also to make the computer effects look not crazy, like, crazy low budget. And what they came out with was incredible. So if you haven't seen it, Joanne especially, absolutely watch it. It's so good, on top of the fact that when you see it and you realize it's less than $1 million, it's shocking to say the least.
I have to
See,
check
I
this
thought
out
you
now.
were-
I'm so intrigued.
I thought you were going to hold up Freak.
Oh no, I have that too.
I was going to be saying, what did
What
they
a
pay that
movie.
money to?
What
a- Yeah.
He's the dog boy.
Yeah. No, I have that one too. Come check out this shit. It looks like Madonna. Like that was one of my favorite lines in the whole movie. It's like, it doesn't
But
look
Joanne,
anything
I mean-
like Madonna. Kind of looks like Winona Ryder though. Like, it's so fucked up.
Styrofoam cup.
You've got a bit of specialty in practical effects as well, haven't you? Because I've seen some of the cosplay stuff that you have done.
Oh God, yeah, like amateur level. Like, I'll admit, like, I grew up
They're
like.
amazing.
Thank you very much. So I got really into it. So I used to grow up, like, I watched all of the Hellboy films and all these kind of practical effects in so many films and look all the behind the scenes. That I just got really curious and started to kind of like, there was a costume shop that opened up near me that sold like special effects putty and makeup and bruise palettes. And I used to just get really curious and just start practicing. And then obviously, like, going to Comic-Con and stuff lets you like really practice for it. But not just that, like, I started to do it for short films and things at university, and I nearly got kind of an internship doing stuff for Real SFX. So they kind of work with Sherlock, Doctor Who, Good Omens, I think, like stuff like that. In the end, I chose not to do that, but yeah, the practical effects stuff has never left me. Like, it's just one of my, I'm so curious about it because it is a real art to make things stand up, and like, yeah.
Well, that's going to be really special because in a couple of weeks, which I think is going to be the first time that you host a show with myself with a guest.
Mhm.
Our guest will be the director William Malone, director of House on Haunted Hill, Fear.com.
Oh, brilliant.
What was the other movie he did? I was going to say Insanitarium, but it wasn't that. Was it Parasomnia? Come on, Jonas, you know your horrors. He's part
No,
of the
I
master-
do know my horrors. No, that I don't know what else he did, because the only ones I knew about were Fear.com and House on Haunted Hill. Fear.com, by the way, is a wildly underrated film for what it is.
Yes.
Like, especially for the beginning of like the internet age of horror, so to speak. That movie was like better than decent. You know what I mean? Like, it wasn't, by no means was it a home run, but it was fucking way better than people give it credit for.
Solid effort.
And a good bit of trivia in regards to William Malone. He actually owned Robbie the Robot from Forbidden Planet.
Oh shit.
Really?
Yeah, he auctioned it off only a couple of years ago. But he actually owned it, which is pretty cool. So he is a guy who's heavily into his practical effects and makeup and stuff. So we'll have some great conversations going there. Also coming up, our next guest, I believe it's going to be with me and Jonas. We are going to have Oner Tukel, director. He directed movies like Catfight, starring Sandra Oh and Anne
Oh,
Hesh.
shit. Yeah.
And a whole bunch of movies well regarded in the New York film community, and also a Brooklyn native as well. So Jonas, he probably lives about 5 doors away from you.
Probably, yeah.
But then
He probably also hates the fireworks right now too. So
he probably does. So that's a good conversation starter to have.
yeah.
So Jonas can tell the most amazing story of the only person who has walked the entirety of Brooklyn to come and see him.
That would be you, Andrew. You were the one that
That
did
would
that.
be me.
I remember when you sent me the thing too. You were like, "Oh, I'm over here. I'm just gonna walk there." I was like, "You out of your fucking mind?" All right. And then he gets here and he's just like covered in sweat, and he was like, "That was a lot longer than I thought it was gonna be."
Yeah.
It was 2 hours.
Yeah,
2
it
hour
was
walk.
ridiculous.
I love the fact that you just didn't tell him. You just let him do it. Absolute king
Yeah.
behavior right there. I would have been
Right.
like, yeah, go on, man.
Jonas
Yeah,
is there
come on.
like, let's get something to eat. It's like, are you fucking kidding? I just need a drink. I need water now. I'm Ubering this shit back. I'm not this young anymore. I used to do that in LA all the time. I would walk everywhere.
Yeah, but the
And
last time you
nothing
tried that,
touched
you
your
nearly got
muscle.
shot on the subway.
I did almost get shot.
Fair.
The guy next to me got shot. That's how scary it was. It's like, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah,
you mean
so-
you don't
well,
want to take another book of Eli walk to come see one of your friends? Like,
Fuck that, dude. You can come and walk and eat me next time.
yeah,
You owe me one on that.
yeah.
But,
Lord knows I could use it.
Okay. Well, I guess that's kind of all that can be said on whatever it is we were talking about 5 minutes ago before we cut all this shit out.
you'll never know what it was we were talking about either. It's only
No,
a secret
but if-
that we will know.
But if you wanted to know, you can subscribe to our Patreon, where for the price of a cup of coffee a month, you can get all the exclusive content and you can hear us say fuck a lot more on certain
do.
episodes.
We do say it. I
That's
do.
if we
I
don't
say
say
it
it.
a lot.
Yeah.
It's one of my favorite words.
Yes.
Uh,
And you can also listen to our fantastic Poddywood After Dark specials in a luxurious jazz bar setting with sensational Susie on the keyboards and Mike, Dave, Todd,
Bernard.
Chad, Bernard,
John.
whatever the hell the barman's name is that week because Steve can't remember his name.
No. But in the meantime, if you want to talk to us about anything that we've discussed in this episode, or if you just want to welcome our 2 new co-hosts to the show, then you know where to come. You can get in touch with us on the following socials. You can get us on facebook.com/Poddywood. You can get us on Twitter @Poddywood. There's a little bit of trouble with the Poddywood subreddit for the moment, but it's on r/Poddywood. I'll be dealing with that in the future. You can get us on LinkedIn, or you could you could buy a platform and then just run it into the ground, and see if that helps. Get in contact with us. I don't know. It might do.
Yes.
Solid.
Engage
Twitter's
with
not
us.
showing up on Google anymore.
Really?
Yeah.
Mm-mm.
Well done, Elon. Yeah.
By the
I
way,
don't
I
know
want
how
to
to
mention
follow
this really quick. Just guys, I'm so happy to be, a part of this, but also specifically, I'm very happy to be on a show now with co-hosts that are from the UK, because I get to say the C word on a podcast now.
The
and
floor
it's just
is
a hello.
yours.
Yeah, it's just a hello to you guys, which is great. So here in America, you say that, you're like, get the fuck out of the state, leave, get out of here.
I don't think we can
Meanwhile-
actually get away with doing that one on the main show, but on Poddywood After Dark, who knows?
yeah. Who knows what'll happen?
Before we do wrap up, we've got to say some things here. Jonas, what have you got coming up? We want to plug your podcasts and your shows and everything else. There's
Yeah,
a platform, dude. What's coming up?
Absolutely, man. Thank you. Anybody that's specifically into horror, I have a show that is all based around that called Another Goddamn Horror Podcast. We talk to filmmakers, we talk to visual effects artists, we talk to actors and actresses and all sorts of people that are involved. We talk to musicians, comic book artists, all sorts of stuff. Like pretty much anybody that is interested in horror at all, that wants to come on and nerd out on horror with us. We're all about bringing them on and supporting their work and putting their stuff out there. So we have some crazy guests coming up on that one. We actually have a couple of people from Brooklyn 45 coming up in the next month or so. One of them is a guy who has the coolest fucking name ever. It's Ezra Buzzington. Like,
Oh my god,
he's one of
incredible.
yeah, dude, yeah. And he's an older guy too. So I'm like, dude, he had to grow up with that name.
Oh my
like, how
God.
cool is that, dude? Like. So yeah, we're super happy to do that. And that you can find that at Linktree. It's linktr.ee/AGHP666. And that is for all of our links on that. And just find me on socials at Jonas Barnes Comedy on Instagram and at Jonas Barnes on Twitter. Yeah,
It's definitely it's a great podcast. Also, you've got your stand-up shows as well, Jonas. I don't know if you've mentioned any that you've got coming up.
Oh yeah. So we do the Traumedy Hour live show every fourth Thursday of the month at the Tiny Cupboard in Brooklyn, and our next one coming up is July 27th. So it's going to be 27th of this month, 7 p.m. And that is basically a show where we talk about all the dark and crazy, traumatic stuff that a lot of people are afraid to talk about, and we turn it into comedy. So
Now Joanne's got to follow that.
That's tough
Joanne.
to follow.
That is a tough act to follow. But obviously, you have your business, Blue Caribou Productions, and tell us more, Joanne. How can people reach out to you?
Yeah, for sure. So, Blue Caribou Productions is a video agency. We work to film brand content, corporate events, sport, pretty much anything you can think of, we're there. It's a core team, female founded and led, but we've got a massive portfolio of animators, photographers, motion graphics, designers. We're always looking for people to... Actors as well, just saying, work with Steve. We're always looking to meet new people and kind of grow out that workforce, because we get a lot of shoots that kind of come in at the same time because it's odds law. So if you want to kind of check out our work or kind of get in contact with us, have a conversation, then you can reach us on bluecaribouproductions.com. And also we've got social media handles, Blue Caribou MCR, on Twitter, LinkedIn, Facebook, and Instagram. Don't use Twitter. I mean, that's all going up in flames. But hey ho.
Yeah.
Yes. Well, we also got to mention it is an amazing two-girl crew with Joanne and the lovely, wonderful, fantastic Abby Kerwin, who we're going to have to drag in one day.
Oh, for sure.
Oh, yeah.
Absolute star-studded rock. Like, I couldn't get through half of what I do without her by my side.
Yes. And she's the TV nerd and you're the movie nerd.
For sure.
Yes.
And if you don't think that we're not going to bring Joanne onto another goddamn horror podcast, you're out of your mind. Like, so visual effects artists are one of our favorite people to talk to, because we're all like practical effects nerds. So, like, it was kind of funny. We were like one of our first big guest, like, was actually a huge guest, and I think at the time we kind of didn't realize how big of a get it was, and it was Brian Usna. And awesome. We sat down and we like started to have a chat with him, and then we just let him talk for 2 hours. We were just like, we're going to fucking school. Like, that's what it was. And it was awesome. Had a few of them. It was so fucking fun, because it was just like hearing all the ins and outs of like society and like stuff like that, and like all of the different visual effects stuff that he did. He was like, the sloppier the look, the better. He's like, if it looks wet and gross, I like it. We're just like, oh, we love this guy. It's a fun show.
I can vouch for that, because I have been on the podcast version with Jonas, and I think that conversation went for hours.
Yeah, and it was great.
It was fun.
Yeah, it was a fantastic conversation to have.
So yeah, I mean, other than that, we need those subscribers. So if you are just tuning in, if you're following on from the Levitron episode and just wanted to check us out more, subscribe. The best way to know when an episode drops is to have your subscription on YouTube. It doesn't cost you anything.
No.
It costs you a click of a button.
Yeah.
It doesn't even change your day. But you'll be surprised, we have amazing guests coming up. Obviously, William Malone got coming up, owner Tukel, Mike Deesa, director of Dante's Inferno, Dead Space Downfall, also stuff like Wacky Races. Currently working on The Simpsons at the moment, so that is definitely an episode. If you're into your animation, you're going to love that. And not only that, the next time you are going to see these four faces reunite will be on episode 100, which will be the next time we hold our Poddywood quiz for the 100. And
you
on this
love
occasion,
promoting this one, don't you?
It's going to be huge, because for the first time ever, we are going to be the team captains partnered up with someone from Hollywood.
Oh.
Okay.
So it'll be a case of I'll kind of have the questions, but Steve is going to handle my questions. And then we'll see, can anyone finally dethrone Richard Mirish? It's not happened yet.
And before we go, I just want to say a great big huge thank you to Joe Parker and Jonas Barnes for joining us here on Poddywood and becoming the third and fourth faces of our little menagerie of presenters. Thank you so very much, and I'm definitely looking forward to seeing what you guys are going to be able to be bringing to the podcast in the future. Can't wait.
Thank you for having us. It's so exciting to be here.
Yes. Looking forward to it. It's going to be great.
So we've got the JP, the JB, the SH, and the ARC.
ARC. So for now, it is a goodbye from me.
I guess I better leave as well.
I mean, I guess I'll have to get out of here too.
Fine, I'll go.
And we will see you next time in the next series of Poddywood. Bye.